Josh Green here for Tungsten Tales. Delighted today to be joined by Mr. Tavis Dudeney. How are we doing, Tavis? You well?
Doing very good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, mate. My pleasure. Look, going into your second year as a tour card holder now. Look, it's an exciting start to the season and a chance to really make an impression again.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously the back end of the year was uh, was a big sort of boost in confidence, ready for the start of this year and hopefully for the whole year as well. There's a lot of work to do if I want to keep my tour card, but just gonna see how it goes and hope for the best.
Yeah, they were really positive signs towards the back end of the year. A couple of good results in the Pro Tours coming through that qualifier to get to the Worlds as well. Is that kind of where you wanted to be at the start of the year? But I guess you can pick up from that into 2026.
Yeah, I mean, from where I was at the start of last year to the end of last year, was was good, but the middle bit was the issue.
Hmm.
There was a lot of changing things and a lot of confidence dropped as well. Um, but yeah, definitely the back end of the year was a massive sort of pick me up.
Yeah, we'll get to the Worlds and all that in a minute, but that Pro Tour environment, as I'm sure you know by now, is pretty brutal. There's a lot of high class, top quality darts players. Was it difficult to get used to not winning so much because you've had a really strong couple of years prior to that where you were winning a lot of matches and going on to the Pro Tour, I guess, is a sort of a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of those things. Like I started the year, I think I won quite a few games at the start of the year. So it kind of still felt the same. But then when I started losing, and I was losing well, like a lot of the time, um, it was sort of really hard to take
Mm.
because I was kind of thinking like, what am I doing wrong? And that's where the changing come into it, and then the drop in form happened, and I was going from losing games, with like high 80s to mid 90s, to then losing games with low 80s to high 70s, and it was like that can't be happening. Like something has to change there 100%. And then yeah, sort of started to find it a little bit more. um it's still nowhere near what it was before I got onto the tour, but there's definitely signs there.
Yeah, as you say, it definitely picked up towards the back end of the year. Is there anything you can put your finger on why you started to pick up again?
um I, I'm not too sure really. I think I kind of had such a mindset of that I just didn't care.
Mm.
Like I kind of got to that point where I sort of really just didn't care how it went. I sort of went from really caring about wanting to win and do well to just literally just turning up and just playing and hoping for the best,
Yeah.
and I think it kind of worked. Like it helped in a way because I had so much more, like I was so much more relaxed. I wasn't putting the amount of pressure on myself that I was like sort of during the year.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that is that what happened really at that PDPA qualifier for the Worlds as well? You sort of were
Yeah,
coming through those games, comeback victories, and it all sort of went your way on that day.
yeah. I literally rocked up and I think I said it to the table that I was sitting on. I was just like, if it happens, it happens. Like I kind of went there with the same sort of attitude as Q School.
Mm.
You know, if it happens, if it's meant to be, it will happen. Um, and then like my first game, 6-1 down to Daryl, it was like, okay, like, that's like decent, nice one. But yeah, something clicked, and I just I felt like I'd got the fire back in me that I needed, that I've been needing for the last sort of 6 months. Um, and it just drove me to not give up really.
Yeah, and you got the experience of Ali Pali from that and the huge amount of ranking points and money that you get in the Order of Merit just for making the first round there. And you put in a really good performance, a really enjoyable performance as well against Brendan Dolan, really high scoring during that one. Did you enjoy the whole experience of the World Championship?
Yeah, it was incredible. Just I can't really put it into words. It was although I was surprised of how the venue is. Like I thought it would be a lot sort of deeper. I thought
Mm.
it'd be so much bigger because of like watching it on TV for so many years. And then when I walked on stage to like in the morning to have a few like practice darts, I I sort of looked out to the seats and stuff, and I was like, I kind of thought to myself, it's tiny, But no, the experience with the crowd and everything was immense, and it's definitely something that will stay with me for forever.
And your performance there as well. How proud were you of the performance that you did put in? It could have easily gone the other way if there were just a couple more doubles hit, weren't there?
Yeah, that was it. That was the only thing that sort of let me down in that game was the doubles. The scoring was fine. Usually it's the other way around. Usually my scoring's it can't be too great sometimes, but my doubles are normally pretty decent. But yeah, it was just one of those games. But Brendan's experience definitely, you know, it gave him that extra sort of boost and it definitely, I mean, it showed how like he's been at the level that he has been for so many years now. So, but no, I'm happy with my performance.
And that experience of being on the Ali Pali stage, how much do you think that will drive you on this year to get there again and hopefully get to some other major tournaments as well?
I'm hoping it will drive me a lot. I love playing on stages, even just like when I'm playing county.
Yeah.
I love being on the stage. I love sort of being in front of everyone. Um, and I just I want to put on a bit of a show. I want to sort of play well and sort of give the fans, like obviously not county fans, you're a team and whatever, but like at the Worlds, I just wanted to just sort of do myself proud, and I didn't want to make myself look silly or anything whilst I'm up there. But yeah, hopefully it does drive me.
Did that show you everything that can be achieved in this game? Because that was sort of a brief insight to what it's like to be on that World Championship stage. And there's so many more things that you can go and achieve in this game. And now you've got that. What are you hoping to achieve for yourself in the next year?
Um, I'd like to try and qualify for some Euro tours. I didn't manage to do that last year. So that's definitely not just because of the ranking money and stuff like and just playing it. It's just to like experience new countries, to actually travel a little bit. I'm only ever used to go into like Germany and like before, and now obviously Holland. So yeah, I'd definitely want to try and qualify for some Euro tours to be able to just experience new countries.
And with the game, your game in a better position now and it getting back to where it was, is the belief there that you can put some results together and get yourself in a good position to be able to possibly keep your tour card towards the end of the year?
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully I can string a bit of form together. It only takes a couple of sort of little runs to be able to sort of boost the prize money.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm hoping that the sort of back end of last year has given me that confidence to really sort of try and do some damage this year.
Just one more thing I want to reflect on a little bit. I was looking through some old results earlier from your time in the JDC. Obviously, it's when I first met yourself. I still speak to Steve Brown and do a bit of work with him. How much has that grounded you for your career now that you've got within the PDC, all the experience of the JDC back then?
Oh, it's helped a lot, with doing like the JDC and also like the England events as well, and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really helped with sort of pressured moments, I think, in a way, because then it kind of that built me obviously for development tour, and then I sort of it kind of went from being one of the top boys in the JDC and like the England scene to then starting development tour and being a nobody, you
Mm.
know. And that was kind of the same from getting my tour card last year. It was, I was starting to really sort of push on at Dev Tour. I won my first tournament. I was making finals and semi-finals, and I was a name to beat. I'd like to think, and then yeah, getting my tour card, and it was going back to that square one again. I was a nobody, and it was like trying to sort of build that back up again.
And when you look around the room in the Pro Tour these days, there's so many names that were around sort of coming up at a similar time to yourself. You're looking at people like Jurjen van der Velde, Keane Barry. There's plenty of other names as well. I'm sure you'll be able to mention that were coming up around the youth ranks the same as yourself. Does it feel like there's a bit of a switch and there's a lot more young people coming into the professional game now?
100%. The youth game now is honestly probably the best it's ever been.
Mm.
In terms of age wise, like the standard coming through, and you got players that are 12, 13 years old that are smashing in 90 plus averages, and it's scary. Like when I was 12, 13, I could barely throw like a 60, 65 average. Do you know what I mean? And there's kids nowadays that are, yeah, they're throwing silly averages, and they're not even like old enough to do development tour yet. So when they are old enough to do the like development tour and start experiencing the PDC, it's they're going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah. And what lesson would you take away from your first year with the PDC? And if you could start all over again, if you could go into that first Pro Tour after getting your tour card, what lesson would you take that you've learned going into that?
Probably don't expect too much.
Mm.
I think because especially after the first few events of the Pro Tour, I picked up a few wins. And I think then I started to expect to then do that pretty much every time,
Yeah.
no matter who I played. Excuse me. And I think that's where it then just went downhill as well. So because I was definitely expecting way too much of myself. I was expecting to rock up for a 95, 100 average and walk it like, but it's not like that. You could throw a 95 to 100 average and lose first round. That's how brutal it is. So yeah, definitely I would just say don't expect don't expect too much.
Yeah. That's a good lesson. Really appreciate your time today, Tavis.
No, thank you
Best
for
of
having
luck when
me.
it all gets going on Wednesday at the World Masters, and
Yep.
then the following week or 2 weeks after at the first Pro Tour. Really appreciate your time again, and we'll catch
Thank
up
you.
soon.
Cheers.